Hey, Brian Douglas here. This week's blog is about estate planning and real estate, specifically how to leave property to someone when you're gone. There's a number of different ways you can do this. You can do it through a will and you can do it through a trust. We talk about these tools all the time. They're both super powerful. They both are very different, but they have similar uses vis-a-vis. They ultimately dispose of all of your assets, and in this case is your real estate. So with a will, the unfortunate side is you got to go through probate court. So whoever you left the property to has to go to probate. They have to deal with the probate process, and ultimately they'll get the property that way. Same thing with the trust. They get the property through the trust, but you avoid probate. So it speeds the process up, makes it a lot simpler. Now, one thing that we see all the time, and we get people that call our office and say, hey, my banker told me to do this, or the mortgage company told me to do this. And that is simply add someone to the deed to your house, right? Mom wants to add her kids to the deed because then they already own it, and when mom passes away, the kids are already entitled to that. Is it possible to do that? Yes. Is it super easy to do? Yes. Are there drawbacks to it? Absolutely. And specifically, the drawbacks are a couple things. Number one, you're tied to whoever you add to title to that property. So if you want to sell that property or do something else with that property, like even get a mortgage or a home equity line of credit, you can't do it without their permission. They have to sign off on it. And they may not want you to do that. So once you give them an interest in the property, you can't take it back. They have to give it back to you. The other thing that comes along with anyone you add to title is baggage. And what do I mean by baggage? Well, if they have creditors, if they get sued by somebody, if they go through a divorce, guess what? That property, their interest in that property is an asset that belongs to them, and so it's subject to anything that's going on in their lives. And number three, and this one I think people miss more often than anything, is the tax implications. When you sell a piece of real estate, there's capital gain taxes. The capital gains are calculated basically on the amount that you purchased the property for versus the amount that you sell it for. That difference is what's taxed. And so when you just add someone to your property, they didn't pay anything for it, so they don't have any basis to go into it. They don't have that amount that they paid for it. So when they sell the property, they could get hit with a really big capital gains tax bill. So you can spend a little bit of money to avoid that, because inheriting the property either through a will or through a trust will avoid the capital gains when your family or when the people inherit the property from you. So if you have any questions about estate planning, specifically real estate in estate planning, certainly check out this week's blog. That's all we've got for this week, and we'll see you next week.